See, this is why robots and AI will never take over the world, because ultimately, at the core, they're just 5-year-old children that don't fucking do what you tell them and will break for no reason.
That's what we like to hear. We should start domestic assaults against computers.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Let's start the episode.
Alrighty. Ready for the intro?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. I haven't practiced this whatsoever. Finished it about 2 hours ago.
All right.
Let's rock it. Good morning, good evening, and good night. Today is Sunday, July 21st, and we are excited to be back for our second week with you, our beautiful, intelligent, and humble listeners. If you're returning from last week, welcome back. If not, then welcome in, because we have a busy week that we are excited to share with y'all. Local music had a bit of a surge as we will be listening to and discussing 2 new singles, a pop-punk comedy tale from Urban Doctors, and a Rust Belt emo tragedy from Cokeworks, as well as a debut album from the post-punk group Valleyview. We will also be checking in with the Crash Nebula Main Street Detour Tour and welcoming a new house venue to the Pittsburgh scene. So as always, I'm your host Seymour.
And I'm your host Mark.
And you've reached the Bayfront Line. Holy shit.
You did it good. That was good.
I cannot believe.
You did that. You pulled it off first try. That was sick. All right.
Did I sound out of breath at all? Because I felt out of breath.
No, you sounded fine. And if you know that doesn't work, if you want to re-record it later, you can just rip my line from there. So.
All right, that works. Honestly, we do enough of these. I could just probably build a whole intro from previous sound bites.
Probably. I mean. Yeah, that would be funny. It'd be like an April Fool's episode.
Yeah, dude. AI-generated Bayfront Line.
AI-generated music.
Oh my god. I recently learned there's a what was it, AI-generated metal Twitch account out there that's just been going for 2 straight years or something like that.
What do they do? Just
it just generates
metal music?
AI metal music. Yeah, it sounds like an absolute clusterfuck, but
I don't know, man. I don't really agree with you should keep art and AI kind of away from each other. I mean, it's just a lot of people got angry at the horror movie Late Night with the Devil because they used AI to generate opening credits or their promotional material. They used AI to make borders or something, and people think that's lazy and they think that it's taking away from the art itself. I mean, the movie itself was really good. I really liked it.
Yeah.
But I can see where people are coming from. I don't think you should boycott it. Now, if a musician is literally just an AI, I think that's valid to not listen to that hot garbage.
Yeah, probably. What if they put out a real competent song though, and it actually sounds like something a human would make? Do you still think it's unlistenable? Or something you shouldn't listen to? If
it's not a real person, there's no soul behind it. It's just someone that plugged in things.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not going to defend AI.
Yeah, I'm not either. I don't like it. I mean, I use it a lot for my job, but other than that, I don't really see it.
Actually surprised to hear that you use it for your job. I'm sad we can't get into that.
Yeah, I know. No, it's an interesting way of using AI. I think that's beneficial, but I'm not going to go further into what I do, but
yeah. And we also probably shouldn't go further into AI because God knows we cannot handle political topics.
Yeah.
At least not yet. Not yet. Not by episode 2.
Yeah, episode 2, especially because
the big one.
The big one, yeah. But welcome back.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here again. Happy to be back in the studio, and
I'm so glad to hear that.
Let's see if we can listen to some new jams, listen to some new singles. We got an album.
We do have an album. Yeah. Like I said in the intro here, we had a surge this week. We got 2 singles. I believe they're both coming from Pittsburgh. First, we got How We Messed Up the Space-Time Continuum by Urban Doctors and Black Winter by Cokeworks. From what I've seen, I believe Urban Doctor single is just that, a single standalone. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I looked. It's just a single. The art for the single is so goofy. It's just a goofy.
I love it though. I absolutely love this song. I know we got to listen to it first before we start reviewing it, but in the couple previews that I gave myself before this recording, I absolutely love it so far.
Yeah, I listened to it too. It's
fun.
It's fun. It's definitely something that is different from what the genre they usually have is, but at the same point in time, you have artists that have made songs like this in the genre. It's not as common anymore, but I think it's fun. So,
yeah.
Do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, we can start with that one. So let's go ahead and give it a shot here.
Cruising through space, our torture force one, and just like that, we escaped the black hole and harvested the energy we used in all the past. Space, time,
I want to point out, as soon as everything kicked in, we both started headbanging immediately.
Yeah, no, it's fun. So, well, I mean, I don't know if I would consider this more punk or more pop punk, or a little bit of both.
Yeah, I would say it's more pop punk.
Yeah.
I would compare. It's not exactly the same sound, but like kind of like a Bowling for Soup vibe.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Especially, the distortion on all their guitars and everything like that. Blink-182, Green Day.
Yeah.
Late 90s, early 2000s pop punk bands. That first surgence of pop punk.
I was going to say, you and I listened to a lot of Blink-182 in high school, and this just reminds me of kind of like a more innocent version of what we listened to.
Yeah, and more down to earth, because Blink-182, they blew up very quickly and also didn't have the same equipment that these guys did at their fingertips in their first few albums. But
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's fun, like you said.
Yeah. No, even though it is straightforward, like you said, I think the strengths here are definitely one in just how tight it all sounds. Like, you can be basic, sure, but there's a difference between playing basic stuff well and so shitty that nobody can actually listen to it.
Yeah.
And also, at least for me, the strength here is the lyrics. I love the lyrics. At least for me, it's like
a
listening
bunch of goofy sci-fi.
Yeah, it's like listening to a Sunday cartoon, like a Sunday morning cartoon.
Yeah, like Johnny Test or something like from Cartoon Network in like the 2000s. They went into a black hole.
Yeah, dude. Talking to aliens.
It's tight. It's tight. I like it. How many other singles and stuff like that do they have on Spotify?
Let me see here. Looks like quite a bit, actually. Looks like 8 or 9 singles, and this is, I think, the 10th one. Yeah,
second half of that song definitely more pop punk. When I've listened to it for the first time, I just kind of, gave it an overview. I didn't really think too much about it, and it sounded almost just more punk to me. But after listening through it for a second time, that's definitely pop punk. And we're seeing. I mean, I see like an overarching theme here in Pittsburgh. There's a lot of pop punk coming out of here, or
There seems to be. We'll see. It seems to be a very weird scene around here, in that there's a lot of different genres, especially in the more underground and basement show scenes, but they just do not seem to gain traction for whatever reason. Personally, I hate that, but for whatever reason, it seems like unless you're a metal band, you don't seem to get the big shows around here.
Oh yeah,
I can't figure out why.
Well, Pittsburgh has been an epicenter for metal music for the better portion of 2 decades, I would say. You can go back to, like a local band, Steel City Ruins, and they kind of blew up a little bit, and they were metal music. Or, a huge band, Code Orange. I think I talked about them in one of our test episodes. They went by Code Orange Kids, and they're from Pittsburgh, and they play sold-out shows at Stage AE and areas around here. They did a secret show, 8-9 months ago, where it was just word of mouth. And it was at Preserving Hardcore in New Kensington.
Okay.
My buddy went and saw them. It was like $15 a ticket. there's other metal bands that, you know, seem to just do better here. And I mean, it's probably just the population.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be it. But, like, I just can't figure out where it came from, honestly. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. Personally, I'm not a metal person myself, but again, not a bad thing, you know. Like I said, there's plenty of genres if you actually go and look for them. It's just, I don't know, I'm just more curious than anything. Like, I really thought, especially the whole, like, pop punk feeling with 4-chord and all that, I thought there was, like, a bigger draw for that, and maybe there is. Maybe it's in the rise, and I just haven't seen it yet.
There could also be the idea of, like, oversaturation. You know, there's a lot of bands out there that are playing the same kind and genre of music, and you can't have a bill, even if it's a house show. I mean, I get it. What turns into anything above 8 bands, you just make it into, like, a festival in someone's basement. I mean, you want to keep, like, a tight, like, 6 p.m. earliest to, like, 11 p.m. latest, and you can only fit so many sets into there because you got to have time to take the instruments out, replace the drum kits, EQ up their sound, make sure everybody's ready to go. So maybe there's just a lot out there, especially because in the last, 6 weeks we've been doing this. Most of the bands have been closer towards pop punk. We've had other artists that are, you know, like Dab Lab. They were stoner metal, which was super cool.
Yeah.
We had Threaded, which was more like shoegaze.
Yeah.
And in this week, we're going to have a post-hardcore band, which is dope, you know. That brings in almost like kind of the goth vibe to or dark wave kind of vibe to somewhere that usually doesn't hear that kind of stuff. Now, we could be naive, I think, and state that, you know, we just don't know other artists that are also doing that. But maybe, you know, just our pool is just mostly pop punk. But, you know, if you have Sad Summer, if you have 4-chord that are based in here, those festivals that kind of took place of Warped Tour after Warped Tour ended in 2017 and they chose to make this their home, maybe there's just a lot of pop punk out there. But don't take that opinion, you know, with a lot. Take it with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, I might not know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna.
Thank God we're the ones running this podcast.
I think you know what? It's just two guys that are just expressing their opinion about the local music scene. Okay,
that's
and in my opinion, I think there's a bit of a overflux or whatever the hell I want to say of pop punk in the area, because, you know, when we played music, we were pop punk, indie punk, emo punk, anything. It was basically that same kind of area that a lot of these bands are going for. And that could also be why we end up reviewing a lot of these, because, you know, that's more of the scene that we were involved in. But
yeah, that's true. And maybe that's just a generational thing. Maybe the metal is for the older crowds in Pittsburgh. Not older, but like the more adult crowds, and the pop punk is more for the people coming out of high school and coming right out of college. Because I know, like you said, we played a lot of like that pop punk kind of vibe, and Main Street Detour was kind of in that same scene with us, and they seem to have just taken that and just kept running with it.
And they're doing really good. You know, they played at Preserving Hardcore. They opened for Belmont, which is a pop punk metalcore-esque band. You know, a little bit harder than pop punk, but, you know, not fully metal. And I think that's why they also work. They have a good mixture of genres that a lot of people like in the area. But overall, I like that this conversation stemmed from the first song that we listened to. I think that is something that we need to do more often.
We can try,
but
that's the goal, at least.
But to move on,
moving on, we can go to our next single here. It's going to be Black Winter by Cokeworks, and this is going to be a weird one because we did talk about them, but in our test episodes that at least haven't been released yet. Mm-hmm. So we kind of have a little bit of continuity, but for anyone that's trying to get into the scene through this show, they're going to be a new one for you. I I think, self-described as a Rust Belt emo band. This is their third single on what looks to be an EP or an album coming out sometime in the next few months here. From what I've seen from them, they're building up to it. And I believe since they're releasing, that pretty much means they're done with it. They're just, playing the marketing game now. So, yeah, if you like it, there's a lot more out there and a lot more coming. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you have anything to say before we get started with it here.
With this single, they packaged it with 2 other songs, which, a lot of bands tend to do sometimes. The 2 other songs, though, they were already released as singles prior. The second song on this we had already covered, and the last song, which I like the most, actually was released back in May. So we're not going to talk about those 2. If you do like what you hear, I strongly encourage you to go listen to the other 2 songs. In my personal opinion, the other 2 songs are very strong. I think that they're the stronger of the 3 of these, but we should give it a listen and let other people decide their opinion as well. So
yeah. All right, so we can go ahead and give it a shot here. Like I said, this is Black Winter by Cokeworks.
Rivers of oil burn red, light up the coastline, watch the skies darken with rain.
where are these guys from? Didn't we say it's like, are they from Erie?
No, Cokeworks, they're from Pittsburgh.
Like in Pittsburgh?
At least they say they're from Pittsburgh. I don't know specifically where in the area they're from, but they're a Pittsburgh band.
I wonder I don't know if the lyricist is just being really metaphorical or talking about like an actual power plant.
It sure sounds like he's talking about an actual power plant. That's the thing. Listening through this song, it seems to be a lot focused on the pollution around here and all the factories and abandoned buildings and stuff like that. And I think that's why they describe themselves as Rust Belt emo. Just they write songs about the Rust Belt and living here and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean the Rust Belt also is just kind of this weird area that goes from the edge of the Northeast down into the Midwest, and I feel like that's also why this area is eclectic with the music that comes in and out of it, because it's in an area that doesn't really have a personified genre. Like Ohio and through the rest of the Midwest, they have Midwest emo music where a lot of bands that come out of there have that sort of sound, just like how East Coast and West Coast rap have that same kind of personified thing. So,
yeah, okay. I didn't mean to laugh there. I just didn't expect rap to come.
Oh, it's the same. It's the same idea with rap music. That there's Chicago rap, there's New York rap. There's different boroughs that sound different in New York. Pittsburgh, I don't know what is considered Pittsburgh, genre-wise.
I don't think Pittsburgh has their own genre.
That's what I'm saying, is that's why we get a lot of different things coming out of here, but...
Okay, I gotcha.
I mean, it's fine. I think and it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to talk about this without being an asshole.
I mean, the best way I can say is that I think this is the weakest out of the 3.
Yeah, and I'm really... sad.
I really like Vulture. I think Vulture is really, 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 really good.
Yeah, and I'm sad we can't bring back the test episodes, because I remember really liking Tell Me Why.
Because Tell Me Why
great.
sounds kind of
unique. It was punchy. It was, I don't know. I think, like you said, it's a lot stronger than this one.
Yeah. And this isn't dissing the band. It's just I think that the other 2 songs are significantly more embodied of what they're going for.
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, they have 2 more higher energy songs, and this one kind of brings down more of just slower and I would assume more emotional.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Maybe it's just not for us. I do want to throw that out there. I feel like that kind of eases my soul a little bit, you know? I keep saying that I'm more into that more like Wall of Sound feel. So, you know, maybe the slower stuff just isn't for me.
And like I like a lot of slower, more melodic songs that have more of an emotional punch to them, but overall I just think this one compared to the other two are better.
And I will say, they posted this on Instagram, and someone commented that it sounds like Christian rock.
Oh,
so
yikes! That stinks.
Yeah.
Got the skillet treatment there, boys. That sucks.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe they are a Christian band. I don't know.
They're not. They were very upset about it.
That's fucked up.
Not upset about it. They were poking fun at it, though.
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, no. It's not bad. Just the other two are a lot stronger.
I like the other two more. And then I don't think that, you know, they should take that the wrong way.
I hope not.
If you get, you know, 2 out of 3 that I genuinely enjoy. I downloaded the other 2 songs. It's just that every song on an album you're not going to like. Unless it's, you know, something absolutely head-turning, genre-changing. You're going to have your lower songs and you're going to have your higher songs. You can look at what the numbers do. So,
yeah. And I will say that I'm still excited for the full album. We're still absolutely going to talk about it when it comes out. We'll go through any songs that didn't come out as singles beforehand. But yeah, we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, no, we can move on here from the singles to our album. We have Still Life by Valleyview. It is self-described as a post-punk album / band. Recorded locally here at Mr. Small's recording, recorded by Nate Campese. Don't know if they're related to the Campeses we know, but no, okay. But yeah, no, if you like what you hear here, you know, go check them out. If you need something recorded, go hit up Mr. Small's and Mr. Campese there. But we can get into it here. Do you have anything to say before we start listening?
You know, it's post-punk. It's takes a lot of inspiration, I personally think, from, you know, the Smiths, The Cure, a lot of those.
It's definitely got a very like 70s,
70s to 80s
punk feel to it.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of inspiration there.
Joy Division, another one that, you know, I feel like they took a lot of inspiration from. And then current day, like dark wave artists. Dark wave being kind of a step forward from post-punk. Still carrying those basics from it, but evolutionizing with the time. So it's not my biggest genre on my list, but I still like it. So we'll see what happens.
I'm the complete opposite. I love punk, especially like classic like punk. Like, God, I'm gonna sound so cringy, but the Ramones. You know, that kind of feel. I can't list off like band after band just like off the top of my head, but like that like the screaming feel. I can't
the
like
Misfits, you know.
Yeah, I love it. I can't lie.
And you know, this comes out from those classic punk artists. They make this post-punk with, like I said, The Cure, Joy Division, and then kind of taking that forward. Echo and the Bunnymen, another huge influence I feel like they took. But let's start it. Let's see what they got.
All right, we go ahead and give it a shot here. Like I said, this is Still Life by Valleyview.
I mean, overall, I would say that was a pretty solid album.
Yeah, I don't know if I said it before we listened to it or not, but this is their debut album here. So if you like this, there is plenty more to come, and from what I've seen, they got plenty of shows coming up.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we're going to miss it with the release of this episode, but we talked about Fitzfest last week with a whole bunch of local bands.
Are they there?
They are there.
Sick. Yeah, and they, I mean, they have already played shows with significantly big bands. Like, they've played with, for, you know, their first album, they got on a ticket with Remo Drive.
Not bad.
Surprisingly, that's at the Mr. Roboto project. That's interesting. They got on a ticket with Flycatcher, which is really important. And then Delta Sleep, one of my favorite bands at the moment, they got on a ticket with them. So
they're killing
pretty
it.
cool that they only have released, you know, one album and they're playing with artists like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like how we said with Dab Lab last week. I get the impression that these guys kind of sort of came together as a group already with experience.
Yeah, if they have pull to get onto those tickets, I would assume that they've been in other bands before. I mean, looking at their stage presence, you know, on their Instagram and everything, and the amount of equipment they have, this ain't just like they threw something together. Like they've probably been working on their own craft forever. But
oh, absolutely. Actually, I am curious. Let me look at this when their first single released on Spotify here. Okay, the first one came out 2023. Let me see here, March 2023.
So they've been together for a year and a couple months.
Yeah, and it seems like this project has been in the works for, you know, quite a while.
Yeah.
So, it definitely shows that quality. I think the standout here for us was Sugarized on there.
Yeah, Sugarized and Nevermind were genuinely like pretty top tier songs.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting too because the whole thing kind of has like a 1970s post-punk vibe, like we said, heavy inspiration from that time. And then you hit Sugarized, and it's like a more modern version of the whole thing, and I very much I like it. You know, I'm not very much in the post-punk scene, so I don't know if it's a good or a bad change, but personally, as a listener coming at it with no experience, I loved it. Like, that was definitely like the high point of the album for me.
Yeah, no, Sugarized and Nevermind kind of took a turn to a more poppy kind of vibe to it, with keeping the original backing of, you know, the first 5 songs. And they kind of sounded like, you know, a dirtier version of Fontaine's DC, which is, like I said, a bigger band that's based out of, I believe, Ireland. They made Skinty Fia about 3 or 4 years ago, and they're also post-punk, and they're like new age stuff, and those 2 songs remind me a lot of them, and that's a huge compliment. Focus, Haunting, American Windmill, Losing My Mind, and Television, they all kind of sound to go together. I like that in Focus, you know, as an opening, kind of just a wall of sound like you like. Just a lot going on in the first 30 seconds, and they break into the first full song. Losing My Mind and Television, I really liked the guitar fills they did.
Television, I want to talk about because the drums absolutely like.
You were saying something about like the toms, right? He was
yeah, it's weird. It's kind of like a Boots and Cats piece, like Boots and Cats and Boots and Cats, but like between those hi hats, he's like riding the tom drum somehow, and not just one, but just like he's like on one, then on another, then on the floor tom, and it's just like a consistent drum beat the whole way out or throughout, yeah. And I'm impressed by it. Like, honestly, at least through my first listen as a drummer with 10 plus years of experience, I can't quite figure out how he did it.
That's sick. Yeah, no, I enjoyed that in those two. Those two almost were kind of like the transition point for the album, because after that you do get the 2 songs we like the most. And then there's Living Room and Slow Explosions, and I personally think those are the lesser of the 9 songs.
Yeah, I get the impression that they also know it's not their strongest, because it's the last 2, which, you know, we all have them.
Yeah,
let's be totally honest.
Like I said when I was talking about Cokeworks, you know, getting 7 out of the 9 songs for a first-time listener to like is extraordinary. So
yeah, I
think overall, if you like post-punk, if you like artists kind of like the Buttertones or Fontaine's DC, check these guys out, because I feel like they're only going to get bigger from here, and what's better of a feeling than saying I was one of their first bands?
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
And especially in this economy of shows, you better see them while they're early before Ticketmaster gets their grip.
But overall, this week's stuff, we had highs, we had lows, but overall, every band still was strong. So
I'm very excited for all three of these bands to see
we should
what else they
review
have.
Pop Baby next week.
Yeah, I heard of him.
Can we review Pop Baby?
We can. He's a local
I
artist.
know he is.
He's
Can we
from-
review Pop Baby?
I followed.
Dude, he's wilded.
Yeah, dude. I don't
The stuff that he's
understand
doing.
it. I heard about him from my sister yesterday.
Pop Baby
Since
crazy,
then, I
dude.
have not stopped hearing about him.
Shut up! Shut up!
Shut the
Turn it
fuck up! I
around.
swear to
Dude,
God.
He has like an ensemble of like women that dance with him.
Oh,
he
I've
was
seen
on.
them.
He was on my buddy Ben's high school football field in Norwin doing dance moves and
I
shit.
saw that video. Was that actually?
Yeah, yes. He sent it to me. He was like, Pop Baby on Norwin's football field goes wild. And I was like, oh, dude, it's so on. Can we please review Pop Baby?
We can. If he comes out with a single,
Dude,
we
I'm
can
pretty sure he had this one song. He's like, Jimmy D. And it's so good. I fucking love him. He's so funny. Pop Baby, if
my
you hear this,
God.
please come on to the show.
No.
I will do anything for you, bro.
I've been trying to follow a bunch of like
Fuck.
local musicians and like people who work in like the local industry, and I followed some lady that works for marketing for a couple of them, for a couple of businesses around here.
Yeah.
And my God, I looked at her story. First post, she's in a call with Pop Baby,
Yes.
and they're planning something.
Yes.
The man is making waves in Pittsburgh.
Well, he's just
and I
a
hate
goober. Like, I think it's so good. He's a goober. He wears a wig to his shows, unless that's his real hair.
Oh
Dude,
God, I didn't even consider that. I don't know.
I think that, he has like a cult following.
Does he? It just seems like
dude,
be a bunch of people making fun of him.
I thought so too, but there's people that I feel like genuinely love it because I don't know if they think it's a joke or they really like the music. I don't care.
Okay, hang on. We gotta get to the bottom of this. 10 seconds ago, were you joking when you said you liked them?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So I can't tell then.
Let's have Pop Baby on. I want Pop Baby in the stew.
Oh my God, we probably could, dude. Can you imagine
He
if
bring
we
all
get
of his
big?
women with him that do the choreography in the background.
I swear, if we get big because of the first special interview episode we do is with Pop Baby,
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, dude.
I'm gonna be shocked,
Anyways,
amazed even.
in all serious note, these three dudes, these three bands, I should say, super sick.
Yeah, they're killing it.
So if you like pop punk, you like Midwestern emo or what they call Rust Belt emo, or if you like post punk, all three of these are for you. So
Yeah.
moving on, do we have any shows or news coming out this week?
So we do have a couple standout shows. First, I do want to say, if you do want to go to a show in the local Pittsburgh scene, there is always something going on. Just look up your local venue. We always like to name a few every week, so a couple on my mind. Actually, let me see. I got a whole list here. I've came prepared. Let me see. I got an Excel sheet here. Let me see a couple. I don't know if we talked about them. Club Cafe. They put on a bunch of awesome
Yeah, I've
shows.
heard of them.
They're a bar in Pittsburgh, I believe, in the north side. And they always got good stuff going on. They always got good sound, plenty of room if you wanna mosh a little bit, if you're into that sort of thing. Another one, we talked about them last week, but I just want to give another shout out to a house venue, West Egg.
Yeah, we talked about them last week.
Yeah, they went on pause for the summer. Got a couple shows here and there during the summer, but it wasn't anything like official or consistent. But from what I'm hearing, they are coming back after late August, I believe.
Cool.
So if you want to get into there, they have an Instagram at west_egg_PGH. You can hit them up for an address if you see any shows that they got going on that you're interested in. And yeah, support a local venue that's coming back.
Always go to local shows.
Absolutely.
I mean,
It's
obviously,
way cheaper.
and obviously the bigger ones, Mr. Smalls, the Thunderbird, the Roxy, and even Preserving Underground's making waves now. Those guys, obviously, they get local artists to also, open for bigger bands. So if you don't go to a DIY show, I mean, always also check, those as well, because they're very open to local acts opening or even frontlining a tour or a show of some sort. So don't be scared to venture out of the DIY scene. Stay where you want to, but just stay local. That's the biggest one.
Just give it a shot. See what you think. But yeah, in terms of standout shows, though, we got 2. First one on, I believe this is going to be Tuesday, July 23rd. We got Sad Summerfest coming to Stage AE. Unfortunately, there's no local bands on the ticket there. But I did at least want to give them a shout out because, Sad Summerfest needs a shout out from a big company like us.
Mm-hmm. It's the 5th anniversary with Mayday Parade, The Maine, The Wonder Years, We the Kings, Real Friends, Knuckle Puck, The Somerset, Hot Milk, Diva Bleach, Daisy Grenade, and Like Roses. So if you like, any of them, I was a big fan of Knuckle Puck and The Wonder Years back in the days. So
remember that. I was listening to Daisy Grenade lately. They recently came out.
Nice.
They're more poppy in terms of pop punk, but they're a fun listen if you're into that.
Well, if you're interested in going and seeing something that's sponsored by Journeys and Converse, gives you a little bit of a flashback to 2017, 2018.
We're trying to bring it back. Doing our best.
Well, yeah, exactly. So there's obviously that's a big one.
Yeah. So that's coming. And then July 28th, this isn't going to be in Pittsburgh, but in Erie, Pennsylvania, Crash Nebula is coming to a venue near you. They are going to be at, and I lost it here 1 second, Belligerent Studios in Erie, Pennsylvania, like I said. Unfortunately, no word on timing or price yet. But from what I've seen, if you follow Crash Nebula on Instagram, they should have a show posting coming out.
Yeah, cool.
Sometime soon.
Yeah, Erie, very well versed in that place. I lived up there for a while. You did too.
We did, yeah. Fantastic place in the summer. Horrible place in the winter.
Yeah,
Would not recommend it.
That place makes me want to do things to myself that I shouldn't say on video.
Oh, we're gonna get demonetized by YouTube before we even get monetized.
I'm gonna take a knife.
Nope. We're going to skip right past that. And that's pretty much all we have in standout shows.
Right.
And then we got a little bit of news. Just one piece. Like I said, supporting local, we got a new house venue coming out on the Pittsburgh scene.
Pretty cool.
Called the Kame House. And their inaugural show is going to be on August 30th. We'll try to get more details for it as we get closer to it, but right now it looks like it's going to be Wasted Space, Tilt Controls, Fosh, and Futz. It's going to be a $5 cover, doors at 7, show at 8, and if you want to go to it, you can DM at kamehouse.pgh on Instagram for the address.
Awesome. As it gets closer, I'm sure we will tell you guys the address where it's located in Pittsburgh. There's a lot of different areas in there.
The address. I don't know if they want us doing that.
Well, I mean, if it's a public venue,
that you have to DM the account for the address. It's a house venue.
Let's leak it.
Okay. Let's dox the guy.
Dox the guy and get him get shut down by. There was that one venue that I knew of that had they had the police come and shut them down for zoning policies because they didn't have anything that. It got too big, and they were just openly posting about it. And the police came in like, okay, one, you don't have any fire escapes. There's a lot of flammable stuff in the backyard. You don't have a permit to sell alcohol or food.
Yeah, that's a big yikes.
So, regardless, I hope that you all enjoyed this week's episode, and we will see you in 7 days.
In 7 days, yeah. As long as this country doesn't fall apart.
All right.
Alrighty. See you guys.
See ya.
What the fuck? No, Trump got shot. What do you want me to say?